September. September is such an exciting month because the garden is at peak season. It's being incredibly productive, and we can use this opportunity to harvest and really preserve that fresh garden season. Now that it is September, I would encourage you, instead of jumping straight into the fall season right away, to make sure that you are still enjoying all that September has to offer. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the different produce that's going to be in season. I'm going to do a few end of summer crafts, talk about collecting seeds from the garden and preserving the garden. We have just started September, but already it has brought a few rainy days, and that is just the perfect opportunity while the days are still so hot to bake, because it cools down the house. The nights are usually cooler, and tonight was the perfect night to make these really delicious cheesy bagels. They come together very quickly. It takes about 2 hours in total, but most of that is just sitting waiting for the dough to rise. I will include the recipe down in the description box. I also will link a video of my sourdough cheesy bagels, which are also amazing, but this is an active yeast version if you are curious.
A ladybug.
A ladybug.
Yeah. Should we put her back outside?
Mm-hmm.
That's silly.
One of my favorite parts about September is the September produce. So many different things are in season right now, and it's always best to buy in season when you can, because the ingredients are going to be the freshest and the best quality, and also probably the cheapest. So here are just a few that are at peak season right now. And as I mentioned, the garden is just totally in abundance right now. We are being flooded with tomatoes. And so one of the things that I have been trying to prioritize during September months is really preserving the garden harvest when I can. So I just did a big batch of diced tomatoes, and I will include a link up here on the screen to that video if you are curious on how to do that. But preserving that fresh garden harvest is always so important during the September months. And then the other thing that I also love to do during September before you forget about it and don't have them for next year is collecting seeds. And so here I picked out my favorite tomatoes. You want them to be the ripest tomatoes that you have, the best quality, come from the plants that don't have any diseases if you can. And I tried a new method here that I'm excited to see how it works out, but you essentially juice your tomato, take out all the seed and pulp from the middle of them, and let it ferment in the juice for a few days, just sitting out. We had San Marzano tomatoes. We had these really lovely orange big slicer tomatoes. We had a cherry tomato variety and a fun rainbow orange with red stripe variety as well. After those few days, you just kind of add more water, dump, rinse it out until you have just the seeds. Anything that floats is bad, anything that sinks is still good. And then I just put them on a cookie sheet in order for them to dry. Made sure I kept my labels, put this in a corner that had a fan next to it, and in a few days they looked like this, nice and fuzzy. Let me know if you've ever tried this seed saving method, because I'm very curious if it works. We'll see next year, I guess. Back out in the garden, the other seeds that I wanted to try to save this year is this beautiful strawberry blonde calendula. My parents have a million of these plants all over their vegetable garden, and I really want to experiment with using calendula in making oils or lotions next year, so I wanted to make sure that I had some for our garden. And I absolutely love this strawberry color as opposed to the traditional orange. I feel like it just looks lovely. And then the other plant that we always plant, and so I want to make sure I'm better at saving seeds of, are zinnias. We plant a million zinnias every single year in our gardens, and I would love to be able to save some of the seeds, and so we don't have to buy a bunch of packets come spring. You're looking for these little dried arrowheads on the browned flowers. This honey is absolutely gorgeous, and we are entering honey season in the next few months, and I needed to refill my jar, and I just wanted to show you how absolutely gorgeous this honey is. I will be sharing a video of us checking on my parents' beehive here shortly, so stay tuned and make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss this to see if we will harvest any honey this fall. This summer was filled with lots of different adventures and hikes and gardening, and my 2-year-old is completely obsessed with finding little treasures. He found different types of eggs in our garden, this bird's nest, some dead bugs, just all sorts of different little fun things on these adventures. And so I thought it'd be a really fun idea to kind of put them together in a shadow box for his room, kind of as decor. And so that's just what I'm going to be doing here. This is kind of an end of summer project now that I have all of these little different treasures, and I just think it'd be such a cute decoration for his room and kind of just showcase what we all did this summer on our little adventures. I was really impressed that the hot glue actually managed to hold everything together on this paper. I even glued the paper onto the foam, and I think it turned out great, and it'll be perfect for his little room. Now finally, the autumn bucket list. I personally love making little bucket lists or activity idea lists for the season. I think it helps me stay focused in living in the season, and it also is just a great reference if you are looking to do an activity to kind of see what is available to do and participate in during that time. As a stay-at-home mom, I find this super helpful because not only do I want to encourage us to live seasonally, but being able to reference this when we are kind of stuck in a rut or having a day where we need an activity is so helpful. And I think that being able to kind of keep track and maybe keep this in a keepsake box to reference later to kind of see what we all did for that season is just a really fun memory to have. If you do like drawing or painting, these pens are so much fun. They kind of act like a marker but give you the effect of a watercolor. I will include them down in an Amazon link below for you to go check out. They brush on just so beautifully and are so much fun to color with. And here is the final product. I think that these doodles really make it look so much fun, and there's a little bit more room in case I come up with any other activities. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it inspirational, please give it a big thumbs up. It really supports my channel, and don't forget to subscribe.